Morning, this is Dale Johnson. I said to my granddaughter the other day, keep your eye on the prize. She was kind of grousing about having to do chores, and I reminded her of how nice it's going to be at the end of the stretch to get your reward. When it comes to right-sizing space in your home, it's easy to do that same thing. Get bogged down, grouse that you have to take on this task, and then forget about the reward, which in this case is more space. Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS joins me this morning, and every Sunday morning here on KFOR for Easy Right Sizing to help you keep your eye on the prize. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning, Dale. You're so right. Yes.
I could just tell that was the grandpa advice she needed.
Nice.
And you offer that advice to people who go, throw their hands up, and where do I start? I don't know what to do next. And so the eye on the prize.
Yes. I think that so often I speak with clients who get so focused on their stuff and they can't move beyond that. I mean, they're just focused on what am I going to do with their stuff, and they lose sight of the big picture, and that's exactly what you're talking about. And our topic for this morning came not only from a recent client experience that I had, but also I'm preparing to teach this class through SEC Continuing Education. And we're going to have students come to the class, and we're going to talk about our clutter and our trouble spots. And I thought to myself, I don't just want to offer these students tips on how to get rid of their clutter. I want to inspire them to do something about that clutter. And the way we do that is by thinking beyond the clutter. And so this morning I want to talk to all the listeners out there about what is waiting for you on the other side of that clutter. Right? What is that prize that you're keeping your eye on? And so we worked with a client recently. It was a man, and he had a ton of stuff in his house. Okay, no surprise. That's most of our clients. But he had so much stuff in his house that there were rooms of his home that he really wasn't using very much because there was just stuff piled up everywhere. And so our team went in there, and they were sorting with him, and we were removing some things from his home because we're going to sell them for him on our online auctions, and packing things up. And after two of our team members were in there for half a day, he came in it was the dining room and the living room, and he looked around and he was amazed. And he said to our team, gosh, I could sit in here tonight and have a cocktail, couldn't I? And our team said, yeah, you could. You can come in here and you can enjoy these two rooms of your home that you haven't used in many months or maybe even a few years because there was so much stuff in there. And I remember when I first met this guy, he was really just paralyzed by his stuff. He didn't know, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Where do I take it? What should I do with it? And he wasn't even thinking about the fact that there were two entire rooms of his home that were unusable. And once we were able to clear out some of that stuff, then it was like a light bulb turned on. And his living space increased by 50%, right? Just in that half a day because we cleared out that stuff. So then he was able to imagine what life would be like in a home where you can use every room in your house. So listeners out there, maybe I'm talking about you. Maybe there are entire rooms in your home. Some of you have entire floors of your home. I know. I've been in them, okay? Maybe it's your basement or your second floor that you can't use because there's too much stuff in there. And what would your life look like if you were able to come home to your house and use every room in your home if you wanted to? Wouldn't that be a great feeling?
That would be great. I have a room with a path.
Okay,
that doesn't count, though.
Right, doesn't count. But a lot of people, you're in good company, Dale. So, repeat this after me. Your house is living space, not storage space, right? We didn't buy this house so we could store a bunch of stuff that we're not using. What a waste. So we bought this house so that we could live in this house, relax in this home, make memories with our friends and families in this home. So that's what I want to encourage people to think about when they're feeling kind of stuck or they're feeling like, oh, it's hard to get going or whatever. Sometimes we focus too much on the stuff. I'm going to tell you another story about another client that I met with a couple years ago. They're thinking about moving out of state. It's kind of a complicated situation. They want to buy a house in another state, but they also have to declutter their current home so they can put it on the market and sell this home to get the equity out so they can buy a house in another state. And it's kind of there's lots of dominoes, right, that need to fall in a certain order. And when she was giving me a tour of the home, she pointed out some books that she wants to donate. And right now we're recording this during COVID. And so the Lincoln City Library is not actually accepting book donations right now. And that's everyone's favorite place to donate books. You feel really good about doing that. And I understand, they don't feel comfortable accepting books right now. Goodwill is still accepting book donation. And I mentioned this to the client, and the client said, "Oh, but our books are so nice. I don't think, they're not really the same kind of books that you see at Goodwill." And I had to say to her, now let's focus on the big picture, right? You want to move to another state. Please don't get hung up on where you're going to donate your books. Right? There's a perfectly fine solution out there. It maybe is not your preference, but this is available to you now. So instead of getting stuck and focusing on what am I going to do with all these books, or maybe I should have a garage sale this weekend so I could sell these books, just donate them to Goodwill so that you can move on to the next chapter of your life and focus on the bigger picture.
The
right?
inspiring point that you have brought up in these conversations is think of the person at the other end who is going to be delighted with this nearly perfect version of a book.
Absolutely.
A classic,
yes.
maybe.
And, something I always say is, charities and Goodwill, the people that shop at Goodwill, they need nice stuff too.
Sure.
And so they're going to be thrilled to find, a nice jacket that's there, or a nice book, or a nice vase that you donate. So, and it accomplishes your purpose, because your purpose, again, needs to be what is on the other side of my clutter. That really has to be the driving motivation behind your right-sizing process, is because we don't want to spend our whole lives focused on our stuff. We want to deal with our stuff now so that we can focus on our life, because so many people that I interact with really aren't able to truly live a full life because they're weighed down by their stuff. Right. So this fellow that I mentioned at the top of the show, where he couldn't use his dining room and his living room, his intention, too, is to actually move out to Colorado to be closer to his daughter. And that is the big picture goal. OK, he's leaving a home that he's been in for many years, a home where he can't access some of the rooms of the home because there's too much stuff in it. And he wants to move out to Colorado. It's going to be a totally different lifestyle out there, and he's going to be closer to his daughter and his grandkids. That's what he needs to focus on, instead of, oh my gosh, look at all these boxes of Christmas decorations, or what am I going to do with all these clothes? You have to take that 10,000 foot view of your life so that you can really stay focused on the goal.
My experience is that angst that I might feel about giving something away or getting rid of something disappears once it's out of sight.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I'd move on.
Yes, absolutely. So even if you give something away for free, sometimes we feel like we need to get our money out of it.
Right.
But once it's gone, you can move on. If you think about, what are the items that you donated out of your house in January and February of this year? We don't even remember what they were.
Don't remember.
Right? No. But it's out of our home, and we've been able to use the space in our home that has been freed up because of that ever since. So that's my advice to everyone listening, is just donate it, give it away. If you have the motivation and the time, have a garage sale, sell what you can, and then donate the rest, and stop holding on to this stuff because you might need it, or because you think it's worth something, or you're not really sure what to do with it. You're wasting your time. And every one of us, no matter what our age, we have a limited amount of time on this earth, and we have a limited amount of time with our family and our friends around us. And so let's focus on what is on the other side of this clutter. What do we want to do with our lives and with our space and our time and even our money? If that's directed at anyone who has a storage unit, who's paying for a storage unit off-site, get that thing emptied out. You'll suddenly have more money every month to live your life with. Right? So stop holding on to that stuff. Sometimes, I say this a lot, we think it's a life preserver, but so often it can truly be an anchor. And we just don't necessarily realize that until we can let go of it. And once we let go of it, you feel so much lighter, and you're able to think about what's next for me, what's in my next chapter.
So the man you bring up, you saw his personality change from borderline depressed to be able to enjoy a cocktail.
Absolutely. And
in his space.
Yes, and he is a fun-loving guy, but I could see the slope of his shoulders. This stuff was weighing on him. And it's like we gave him hope. He has this plan. He wants to move out to Colorado, but, I think deep down he's thinking, is this ever really going to happen? As he looks around. And when you are, especially these days during COVID, we're all spending a lot of time at home. And when you're in a cluttered space, space and you look around, it has an effect on your personality and your feelings and everything. And so we were able to kind of give him hope. And there really is a light at the end of the tunnel. And this is possible. I really can get out of here and I can start a new chapter out near my daughter.
Circle around to your teaching again. Tell people more about that.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is coming up.
Yep. The first class is actually tomorrow night. So I am teaching a class through SCC Continuing Education. And it's 3 Monday nights in a row, September 21st, September 28th, and October 5th. And, if you're interested, give SCC a call. You can register by calling them at 402-437-2700. That's 402-437-2700. And the name of the class is Easy Rightsizing. And it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to lead our students through the process of creating a plan to help them get to the other side of their clutter.
For a way a person can gain some of your expertise skills, pick up a copy of the book, Ready to Right Size.
That's right. It's available on Amazon. Just search for it, Ready to Right Size, and you can have it delivered right there to your front door.
Facebooks, websites, Instagrams, you got it all. Information is out there on the internet.
Yes, we do. Information and inspiration for your right-sizing journey. So come and check us out. There's a couple websites you can visit, easyrightsizing.com. We're also at Easy Rightsizing on Facebook and Instagram. And then our business website is changingspacessrs.com. If you'd like to see some of the items that we removed from this client's home that we're going to be selling on his behalf, you can check it out on our online auctions. We have an online auction nearly every week. And we also have in-person estate sales. We're resuming those again safely with a mask and with limited number of people in the home at one time. But we've got lots of opportunities for maybe you to help someone else declutter by buying some of their stuff. And then also, if you want to get started on your own right-sizing journey, there's plenty of resources at easyrightsizing.com and changingspacessrs.com.
And you are always welcome every Sunday morning here on Easy Rightsizing on KFOR.